We're good.
Cool. All right. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us for a demonstration on a final expense presentation. And thank you, Corey, for helping me out with this. I'm going to start off with just a couple documents that I take into each and every single house. And then we're going to go into the mock demo. And then I'll just highlight a couple key points at the very end. So you'll see I take a picture of my state license and my driver's license into every house. I took a nice little picture of the fam into every house. I've got my little daily agenda, which is basically like a little cheat sheet. Maybe we can put it in the comments or you can find it on my Google Drive and all that good stuff. And then also a sheet of all the different companies we work with. This is the financial inventory sheet I've been working with here lately. And then just kind of giving them this at the end, what they applied for, and then some highlights of the final expense. So Corey and I are gonna go into a mock demonstration right now, and let's rock.
All right.
Hey Corey, what's up, man? Yeah, Todd Hausberger with Family First Life. Thanks for having us over here. So hey, I wanted to start off with, I'm just gonna have you take a picture of this for your records.
Okay.
Also take a picture of my state badge as well. So I'm coming into your home. I'm going to be asking you some personal questions, financial questions, medical questions. I really want you to know who you're kind of working with and who you're dealing with and stuff. Okay.
Okay. That's
alrighty. And then this is the reason why I do what I do. I love helping people and being able to help people with their life insurance needs. So that's my wife, Jessica, my 20-year-old Emma, my 10-year-old River, and then little Woody just turned 3 years old. So that's my fam. And I'm your local agent here in the Hendersonville area as well. So looking for life insurance, huh, Corey?
Yep.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Now, you looking for like $1 million, or are you looking for something just kind of take care of burial, cremation?
Well, burial and cremation, but primarily I just want to be able to protect the mortgage, really. We've got other stuff at work.
Gotcha. So back that up. We're just looking for burial and cremation because we already did the mortgage protection plan. All right, a demonstration. So, okay, great. So just looking for burial cremation. Do you have any insurance now, Corey?
Not for that.
Okay.
No.
Tell me why not?
Hadn't really thought about it. Just had the stuff at work and, just thought that was sufficient. Obviously with the pandemic, we know we could lose our jobs and stuff anytime. For sure. And everything that's going on with COVID, just want to make sure that my final expenses are taken care of so that my wife doesn't have to worry about that.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So you're looking to put something in place so this financial burden doesn't get passed on to your wife.
Correct.
Okay, yeah. That's awesome, man.
Looking for burial too. I don't want to do any cremation. Burial is what we want to do.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, I was going to ask you that question. I'm glad you jumped in and told me that. So it sounds like it hasn't really been really a health issue on why you haven't put this in place. It's more procrastinating. So you ready to stop procrastinating today?
Absolutely, if the price is right.
Okay, awesome. Yep. And that's my job. Okay. So how much you looking for, Corey? Are you looking for like 15,000, 20,000, 30,000?
I want to make sure that everything can be done properly and that they don't have to come out of pocket or go into one of the accounts and stuff. So I'd say 15, between 15 and 20, just depends on the premium. Is sufficient.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Now, are you looking to leave anything extra behind, or just take care of like your burial and funeral?
Just the final expense stuff.
Gotcha. Okay. Great. So 2 years ago, the nationwide average for a final expense funeral and burial is about $12,000, and now that goes up about every 4 years. Okay.
Yep.
So you're a young man. I mean, could have a good another 20, 30, 40 years left in you, right?
We hope so.
You want to put something in place to be able to keep up with inflation. So you're on the right track with 15,000 minimum, probably even 20, 25,000 or something along those lines. Okay.
Okay.
And for cremation and funeral, and then cremation, final expense, and then also funeral and stuff. Last 2 years ago, it was about $7,000 or so. Okay, so 15 to 20 plus will be a perfect amount for you. Now, what kind of brought this whole meeting around about, Corey? Have you had like somebody close to you here within the past year or two that's passed away, or
I had a friend pass away? Had a friend pass away, and they had some life insurance but didn't have enough. That's what started the conversation with me and my wife, and it was just time to make sure that we have something in place.
Gotcha. Yeah. That stinks. Yeah. I hate to see those GoFundMes. That's something that takes the place of life insurance.
Especially when it's something we can take care of. It doesn't make sense not to.
For sure. Yeah. No bake sales, no car washes or anything along those lines. So Corey, I'm a field underwriter, and what that means exactly is I'm not a salesperson. Okay. So if you're expecting a dog and pony show today, you're not going to get it. So my first initial job is to gather information from you. And then once I gather information from you, I'm going to be making a recommendation on which carrier that I think would really be the best fit for you. Now, here are the carriers that we work with. I work with all the biggest and the best life insurance companies in the entire nation, but I don't work directly for any of those carriers. Okay. I basically work for you. You want to think of me as like the Expedia of life insurance. Okay. Now, I've been doing this for 18 years. 17 out of those 18 years, I was with a captive agency. So an example of that would be like maybe a State Farm or an Allstate or a Farm Bureau. And if we sat down, I would literally have two options I could show you. If you had any health issues at all, it'd be a really short conversation because I wouldn't be able to cover you. Okay. So now that I work with, about 20 of the biggest and the best life insurance companies in the nation, I've got about 100 different options I can show you. And they all deal with 3 different levels of risk. Every single one of the companies we work with deals with all low risk candidates. About 50% of them would do medium risk, and about 25% of them would do high risk. And again, it's my job to kind of navigate those waters and find which carrier I think would really be the best fit for you and your family. Okay.
All right.
So Corey, I like to accomplish 3 things with all of my clients. One is finding something, and you've already brought this up, so I'm glad you did. One, which is the most important, was finding something that's affordable for you. Okay. Now, your budget is going to be different from each and everybody else's budget that I sit down with. And then number 2 is finding something you're comfortable with, trying to get you that 15, 20, 25,000 in coverage. And then the biggest thing for the life insurance companies is finding which one you can qualify for. So if I can show you something that's affordable for you, if I can show you something you're comfortable with and something you can qualify for, again, does that sound like something you'd like to put in place today?
Yeah.
Awesome. Is there anything else besides the affordability, comfortability, and if you can qualify? Cool. Awesome, man. Let's rock and roll. So I'm going to spend about 2 minutes going over some money questions, about 2 minutes going over some health questions, and about 5 minutes going over a couple different options for you. Now, when we find something that makes sense, we're going to submit a request for coverage. And Corey, that's really just a fancy way of saying we're going to fill out an application. We're going to send it off to one of these carriers. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. They're going to completely look you up and down. I mean, they're going to check everything except for your credit. And they'll spend about $1,500 to $2,000 on you, looking you up and down. They're going to check your MIB, which is your Medical Information Bureau. So no hiding anything from them. They're going to check your scripts that you take now, scripts you've taken in the past. They're going to check your background, make sure you haven't escaped from prison, hiding out here in this nice neighborhood. They're going to check your Social Security to make sure it matches up with your driver's license. I'm also going to have to check your driver's license to make sure that nobody's trying to get the insurance in your name. They're going to also check your banking information, make sure that you haven't been involved in the insurance fraud, even your driving record, make sure you don't have a ton of DUIs, reckless driving, speeding tickets, and all that jazz. Now, once they go through all that, they're going to come to either 3 decisions. One is you get pre-approved. With some of the carriers we work with, you can actually get pre-approved in the home, which is awesome. That's what we're kind of looking for, right? 2 is it gets submitted for additional underwriting. We got about a 50-50 shot if that were the case. And then 3 is just a decline, and if that's the situation, that's okay. Where I was before, again, it would be a short conversation. I'd have to leave your house and basically refer you over to somebody like me. But now that I work with so many companies, we'll just pivot over to a different company and put in an application with a different company. Okay. Does all that kind of make sense so far?
Yeah.
Awesome. So they make the first decision, Corey, on whether or not they're willing to take you on as a client. Unfortunately, they don't give me the power or the authority to give you approval. And also, you don't have the power or authority to decide if they're going to approve you or not. Okay. Now, best case scenarios, they do approve you. Then the ball goes into your court. And then you get to decide on whether or not you want to work with that company or not. If you want to increase the coverage, decrease the coverage, kind of leave it what you've qualified for. Okay. Now, if you get declined, again, we'll just pivot over to a different company and put in a different application. Okay.
Right.
So I'm a field underwriter. I'm not a salesperson, Corey. I don't take any money from you today or ever. It's just my job to try to find something that's gonna work for you today. Okay.
Got it.
Cool. Awesome, man. Let's jump into this financial inventory real quick. Got your date of birth as 4/24/1950. That puts you at 70 years old. We're looking for something to take care of burial and cremation. Hey, who's your beneficiary? Is it going to be your wife?
Yeah.
Okay, so Amy's going to be the beneficiary. Now, something were to happen to both you and Amy, who comes after that?
Be my sister.
Your sister. Okay. What's your sister's name?
Damala.
Okay. And then what's
Domila?
What's I'm sorry?
Domila.
Alrighty. What's Miss Damala's last name?
Jones.
Jones. Okay, cool. And then what city and state she live in?
She lives in Dallas, Texas.
Dallas, Texas. Okay, cool. So not super close.
No, not super close.
Gotcha.
But close enough.
Okay, gotcha. So how long have you been thinking about putting something like this in place, Corey?
Just since like I said, my buddy passed away a couple months ago. Like I said, they had life insurance, but they didn't have enough. Gotcha. And everybody kind of pitched in, and we got stuff saved away and all that, but it's just not wanting to have to pass that burden back to my wife.
100%. I get that. Now, you were saying you do currently have some coverage through where you work?
Yeah. I got some stuff at work.
Cool.
I do engineering, like for traffic lights and
cool.
that kind of stuff. So, I mean, the pay is great and all that kind of stuff. We have 5 times our salary at work. So I've got about 500,000 at work, but I also understand that it's term and that if I leave there, it goes away. But house is paid off, all those kind of things. We just want to make sure that this is in place if something happens to me.
Well, I'm glad that you realize that, Corey. You'd be surprised. I'd say probably close to 95% of the people that I sit down with don't realize that. And most of the time when people realize that, it's kind of too late. You know, they're either too old, too unhealthy, it's too expensive, all those different types of things. So when I'm taking an inventory here, I don't even write down that you've got insurance through work because we don't even count that because they actually own it. It's kind of like a company car. It's only in place while you work there. If you became permanently disabled, if you got laid off, you got fired, if you quit, whatever, every single penny and all the coverage that you have, it all goes away. And I'm glad that you realize that because most people don't. So I'm guessing you've got a valid ID or valid driver's license?
I do.
Awesome. And then do you have a valid checking account and savings account?
I do.
Awesome. And then who do you bank with here locally?
Chase.
Chase. Cool. Yeah, we just got some Chases down here in Tennessee. Now, what do you have that what's that?
They're popping up everywhere.
For sure, man. Yeah. Now, what do you have that acts like life insurance? Like a 401k plan, IRA, stocks, bonds, CDs, mutual funds?
Roth IRA.
Okay.
On my own through Chase. And then I have 401k at work. And then, as I mentioned, the life insurance that I have through work.
Yep. And again, we don't count that. But tell me what you have in your IRA and then also in your 401k, approximately.
Let's say there's about 200k in the IRA, and then I probably have approaching probably 600,000-700,000 in the 401k.
Awesome, man. You're doing great. I love that. You'd be surprised how many people I sit down with that don't have anything in place. So now, do you also have anything in significant savings as well?
We have our daily account, and then we have about 50-60 kind of slush in a kind of a savings account kind of thing that we don't touch. I mean, it's just for emergency stuff, but that's about it.
And now between the 401k and the IRA, what would you guess? You said probably about like 1.1 million altogether.
Yeah, about $1 million, 1.2 million altogether. Okay. Yeah.
Awesome. Now, out of all that money that you've worked your entire life to save up and put away, how much of that are you comfortable losing?
None of it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So this will be for another day and another time. But we also, so you'll see at the bottom of this sheet here, mortgage protection is one thing that we do. Final expense is another thing, but then also future income planning. So we also provide for a lot of our clients fixed index annuities. Now, have you heard of a fixed index annuity?
I know what those are. I've heard of them. Yeah.
Awesome. So just to kind of recap with you on what that is, when the market's going up, you're earning money. When the market's going down, you don't lose any money. When the market goes back up, yeah. So it's a great way to put a safety net, over those retirement plans and stuff. So what we'll do is we'll probably set up a time for maybe same day, same time next week, and I'll bring back an illustration for you. We'll get a printout of your retirement plans and all that type of stuff, and see what kind of makes a little bit sense if we want to take a closer look at that. Okay.
Sure.
Awesome, man. So you said we've got the house paid for, so no mortgage. Now this is a really important question. What's your monthly income? And I'm talking about your take home. And then what's Amy's monthly income? And I'm talking about her take
home. My take home is probably, let's call it 10K a month.
10K a month. Okay. That's great.
Yeah. And hers is probably, let's call it $3,000.
$3,000. Okay. Awesome. Now, out of that, what would you say, how much of that 13,000 is going towards expenses and stuff?
What do you mean expenses? Like extraordinary expenses, or just like bills and stuff like that?
Bills and stuff. Yeah. Mortgage, or actually you don't have mortgage. Scratch
I would
that.
say
Car payments or credit card. All that stuff.
We don't live crazy. I would say, let's see, I'd say a couple grand's probably safe. It's probably a little under that, but a couple grand. Yeah.
Wow, man. So you guys have a ton of expendable income.
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So obviously we're not looking to put, $8,000-$10,000 into a final expense plan.
No.
But the neat thing is I'm going to show you the maximum amount you can qualify for. And then I'm going to show you something kind of what we were talking about before, and then maybe even something a little bit below that. But so since budget isn't an issue for you all, what would you say would be, how much would you want to put into something that's going to take that financial burden away from Amy or your sister? Do you think closer to like, I don't know, $300 to $400 a month, $200 to $300 a month, $100, $200 a month? What's your comfort zone?
Well, I mean, I really don't know, because I don't know how to price this stuff, but I'm 45. I don't have any health conditions. I don't take any medications. Yep. So, I mean, I wouldn't have any way of knowing how to price it at all to give me a ballpark. So, I mean, a couple $100 a month, maybe. I mean, I can't imagine $15,000 is going to cost that much for me. Yeah.
It'll probably actually be pretty affordable if you can qualify for it. Okay. Right. But I don't want to go over that budget, Corey.
Right.
So you said a couple $100. You want it to be less than $200 then?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, great. Gives me something to go off of. Now, are you a nicotine user?
No.
Okay. And then tell me if any of these medical conditions. I
have no medical conditions at all.
I still have to run through these with you though, Corey. So they make me do it, unfortunately.
I understand.
But any Alzheimer's, dementia, congestive heart failure, kidney failure, dialysis, hepatitis, liver failure, cirrhosis, heart disease, cancer treatment, HIV, AIDS-related complex, depression, anxiety.
No.
Awesome. What about any diabetes, insulin, neuropathy, COPD, oxygen, bipolar depression, schizophrenia, Parkinson's disease, multiple sclerosis, heart attack, stroke, or bypass surgery?
No.
Great, man. Do you take any medications for anything?
No.
Have you taken any medications in the past 5 years?
No.
Besides like antibiotics and stuff like that?
No, not even antibiotics.
Awesome, cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some shopping for you here. And when I do some shopping for you, we're going to, you're basically just going to pick which one makes the most financial sense for you guys.
Okay.
So let me see here. We're going to, since you're 45 years old, I'm going to look at Aetna. CVS, which is a great company. So we've got 50,000 in coverage with those guys for looks like about $200 a month. We've got 40,000 in coverage with those guys for about 150. Then we've got 30,000 with those guys for about 100. Which of those options makes the most financial sense for you guys?
What was the middle one?
40,000 for 150.
Yeah, we can do that. That's actually more than what we need, but that's okay if there's a little left over. That's fine.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, especially since you're so young and you're not taking any medications and stuff, you can get a lot more bang for your buck than if you were like 75,
I understand.
Then we'd be looking at like, $400, $500, $600 for the same amount of coverage.
Right.
So what I'm going to do right now is I'm actually going to plug all this into my system, and we're going to see what we can do. Okay. And again, it's going to come back 3 different options. And once those options come back, then we'll be able to decide on what we want to do. Basically, moving forward, if you get approved, it has to go to underwriting, or if you get to decline, we got to put another application and stuff. Okay.
All right.
Awesome, man. So and so during this time, this is really where I build rapport with my clients, is when I'm going through the actual application. And one thing I want to mention to everybody, like if you can't get a hold of me or Corey or any of the other managers within our agency, the 1-800 number that we have for Velocity, or if you can't get anybody on Slack, this is the how you're going to run it. Okay. You always run Americo first. You run Aetna second. And then you've got an option on to the third. You can either do American Amicable or Prosperity, whichever one kind of floats your boat. And then last but not least would be AIG. Okay. Now in Corey's situation, obviously we would have to do Aetna because he's under 50 years old, and Americo, and well, we could also do AMAM. Prosperity wouldn't be able to do that either. And then if there were some major health issues, we'd have to pivot over to Great Western, because for the next couple of weeks, we use Great Western between 40 to 49, but they're actually getting rid of that coverage. So we're going to have to find a different carrier at that point. But Corey, what's oh, and also let me touch on, so probably the 2 most important things about this presentation is, number 1 is what we like to call trial close. Something that's affordable, something you're comfortable with, something you can qualify for, and getting them to say, yes, those are the 3 things that will be a part of my decision-making process. Now, let's just say if Corey said, maybe, or, well, there might be something else, whatever. So I'd be like, okay, Corey, what else is there besides the affordability, the comfortability, and if you can qualify?
Actually, it is the actual affordability.
Okay,
I really don't want to pay $200 a month. Gotcha.
So like I was mentioning before, if we can find something that's affordable for you, something you're comfortable with, so you can qualify for, sounds like something you like to put in place.
Yes.
Awesome. Cool. So that's a really important piece, guys, because it's going to clear the decks of any objections that are out there. And then number 2, I think, which is the next most important thing, is just getting a general budget, right? So I was sitting down with a guy the other day. He was 68 years old, just literally a couple months ago, got back from open heart surgery. I was like, hey, how much do we have to work with here? About 200 to 300, 100, 200. He's like, oh gosh, he's like $50. And I was like, ugh, that's gonna be tough, man. I was like, dude, we're gonna be lucky if we can even get you approved. We're gonna be lucky if we can even get you qualified. But let me at least take a look and see what we got. So I found 5,000 in coverage on AIG for $51, and that was our only option. That's all we could go with, and that made sense for him. He just wanted to get some coverage in place. That was the only carrier that would probably be able to cover him. So that's why I went forward with those guys. But getting that budget, getting those parameters, because I mean, if you sit down with somebody, you think their budget is going to be, $200 or $300 or $400, and they come back with $50. Well, then you're going to shoot yourself in the foot when you run through the rates that are going to be super high and stuff. Okay. So, but also just, it's a reality check for some people too, like, oh, I thought it was gonna be, I was looking at $10 a month. Well, then have a good day. We live in the real world here.
Kind of like my day yesterday.
We live in fantasy land. Yeah. And you're 68 years old. You just had open heart surgery. Okay. Right. So let's bring it back to reality here. So that's good too, because then you get to have a conversation with them before you show them the rates. So Corey, you are you're an absolute rock star, man, and you've crushed it in everything that you've been in. What are some pointers you'd like to give to the team before we kind of wrap this up?
I think you nailed it. I think asking for that budget, but one of the things, Todd, and I know you and I have done this twice now, that I think you do very well, and I think a lot of new agents skip over it, and because I get these calls like, I've sat in 4 homes and I said, it's your presentation. It's not the system. It's your presentation. It's what you're actually doing. Did you do the financial inventory sheet? Well, I mean, I talked to no, you have to do that because you're going to discover things as you're going through that process. Do the life acronym form, LIFE.
Yeah.
Do that because when you do that stuff, it's not you coming up with how much coverage they need and all that. It's them telling you, and then you can turn it right back around and slide it over to them and say, here you go. You need 250K to protect your mortgage and your husband or your wife, vice versa. So
tell them what the life acronym is real quick. Okay. Some people might not know.
Right. So loans, you ask them if they have what outstanding loans they have, car payments, student loans, those kind of things. And then so you have LZ is life insurance, I is income replacement. So anything that needs to replace your income. So if my wife Sue passes away and $3,000 a month was coming in and we're actually using that to pay bills, how are you going to replace that $36,000 a year? Right. And then you have F is final expense. What do you have in place that's final expense? And I usually throw in a couple of other things from the final expense, like what do you have that acts like life insurance? And I'll ask that question the second time because sometimes it does conjure up, oh yeah, we do have this.
Yeah.
Or my mom got, they got us a Knights of Columbus plan, this $5,000 policy has been paid up for 30 years. And then E is education. So what do you want to leave for, your kids or maybe your significant others in college or went back to school, those kind of things. And then you just literally total all those things up, write it down at the bottom, and you guys will be surprised at how much, not that we're trying to sell people big programs, but what ends up happening is it ends up being a bigger program just based off of what their needs are. So then you do exactly what Todd did. Small, medium, large, or gold, silver, platinum, or whatever pops in my head is what I name them. And then they usually, as most cases, they usually pick the middle one.
Yeah. And so also everything that I just went over, it's in my Google Drive under the in-home docs section. So like this daily agenda, all the sheets that I bring in there. And obviously you can get your lanyard made off of FFL Velocity. I believe we've got a link on there. You can, obviously just make a copy of your driver's license, make a copy of your state license. And then, I like to take in a picture of my family and stuff like that as well. Corey, is there any way to add like a link onto this video or anything, or is that way too fancy?
For me, it's going to be way too fancy because it's
cool,
already set up. I'd be kind of going behind the scenes and dropping the video and doing that. I know how to do that stuff, but it takes a crap ton of time.
No, dude.
Probably add it
to so reach out to Corey or me if you guys need access to that Google Drive, but also you can find it on FFL Velocity. And it's Todd's Getting Started folder on FFLvelocity.com.
Yeah, there's good stuff out there for sure.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Anytime, my friend. Enjoy your Sunday.
You too, buddy.
Bye-bye.